Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is another fun-filled day. Here are all kinds of interesting stories. These are unique and fantastic times in the financial universe. So that's all we can always say. Each day we come in here and we say, this is something. We've never seen anything like this. Anyway, they have all the same characteristics of different slices of our marketplace, but overall it's just very unique. Very unique. Zero interest rates is a fascinating thing. And central banks totally invested in the marketplace all the time is an incredible thing. We hear stories about the interest rates now dropping again because everybody seems to be short them, thinking because of inflation, the classic fundamental. And so that'll just become a short squeeze, and you can see that the 10-year has moved from like 170 down to 162, that type of thing. It's kind of unique in its own right. But anyway, here we go. You can see the Swiss here this morning, kind of a little unchanged. It went into the daily buy, I believe, yesterday. Let me just fact check. Right there on line 21. Yeah, made it into the daily buy. You can see we're 1 week in a sell and 1 week in a buy. You can see here on J4X, it's trying to lift up. See that green hinky there? You can see the white line passing through the fast-moving stochastic, moving through the slow-moving stochastic, and you can see that strength right there. What else can we say about that? I guess we take a look at the weekly, and you see the weekly over. Let's see, where is it at? Right there. The weekly is bouncing up, making a nice, interesting dash back to the upside, which is a little surprising. We'll see. We're thinking that this is going to try to trade the bottom end of the range. I guess in many ways we could say is that it seems to be playing with that green line we've been watching for months. If we move it over, let's see if we move this over and see where does it land. It seems like we're landed in the target zone of it, isn't it? Right? Yeah, I'm trying to get just a perfect match to it. I guess that's about it. So you can see here it's playing with that. It just dropped underneath it. We were thinking that it was going to go down, just the action. Let's see, where is it at? Go like this. There we go. Thinking that this thing was going to try to go to the bottom end of the range. Let's give it a refresh. There it is. There's the bottom end of the range. Oh, I didn't mean to move that. Move that back down again. We didn't think it was going to touch the bottom end of the range in 2 or 3 days, but we thought it was going to work its way down. And I guess this is the first resistance area. I guess that's a magical word of resistance. So we'll just, watch, see, and how the dollar goes. This is a good way of watching the dollar through the values of the dollar Swiss pairs trade, because money does run towards the Swiss when concerned versus other places, and obviously it runs towards the dollar when concerned about other places. So they're both really good tools to kind of pay attention to, see how the action is developing from it. All right, and while we're here, let's take a look and just see how the J4X shows the weekly today. Right there. Let's see if it's trying to turn up just like ours is trying to turn up here. It does seem like it, doesn't it? You can see it just bar to bar is doing it. It's off its lows, that's for sure. No, white line and histogram. White line and slow-moving stochastic still heading down. So we're getting a little bounce out of this, but we're not seeing it here over on J4X yet. Give it a couple more hours, we'll see. All right. From there, we swing by the euro. Let's see, right there. There's the euro. It's still in the daily sell. You can see on the fact check spreadsheet here. That's line 14. So we're 1 day in a sell, and we're 4 weeks in a sell. And you can see right here, here's your weekly. You can see the thing's been going down. Got a couple of greens here the last couple of days, and it's lifting up. But over on Chicago, we're still not seeing that. Let's see, right there. And it's been holding underneath the zero line. So we move this up a little bit for you to see better. There it is. See, there's the zero line. So it's hanging underneath it. I guess we should change that code there. That is the blue line is trying to lift up through it, but the two mains, the white histogram and the green, nada, butkus. Let's fix that indicator. What is that? That's 3.5 right there. Style. Turn that off. Let's go with the white one right there, like that. That's better. And you can see it's minus there. And close. Again, the euro, doesn't seem to have a lot of zest to it. They've not been able to really get this thing to run. It seems like the euro is constantly finding ways to go down more than go up. And you can see it there. We're at the bottom end of the range. It's not exactly presenting itself as something that needs to run. Let's see. Just checking my Skype, make sure no one's asking me any particular question through the Skype, which is good because I don't usually pay attention to it. Just for Dukascopy do I pay attention to it. And there's nobody asking anything on the Dukascopy chat line there, so it's a quiet Tuesday. Indeed, indeed. All right. Let's see what else can we say about euro. I guess not much. You see the daily's trying to perk up, but it has not gotten into the daily buy yet. It's still minus. Let's move that. Should we move that over? Yeah, let's try this. Yeah. Okay. Like that. Can we move that over? Let's see. I guess I move this over. There it is. That's better. Now you can see, we got to move it back over a little more. Like so. Yeah, there we are. And as you can see here, we're just kind of hugging along the minus side. Right there. Can you see? Yes, I think that could be seen. Or just try it here. There we go. So you can see right there at the minus. We're getting to the end of October, and so we start to see within the last, usually the way it works is the last 4 to 6 weeks of the year, we find lots of interesting action that occurs in different products because they try to, and what I mean by products is I'm talking about pairs trades and portfolios, and what they try to do is they try to lock everything in, adjust things for the whole year, and then call it quits at the end of the year. Sometimes they have to come in and borrow capital. I've seen central banks around the world borrow capital from the Federal Reserve. And you would wonder, and I've talked about this off and on throughout the QE years, I wonder why they do that. You would assume that they have somebody in the office there paying attention to the amount of money that they need, but for some reason they don't feel comfortable enough to just float free equity to themselves as much as we think they do. That's the odd part out of it all. We find that a little odd, and that is that you would think that if you're the ECB and you're putting in $60 billion a month as new money into the marketplace every month, and you're buying bonds and some equities and so forth. Bonds are equities, but buying like stock equities and preferred stock and so forth, you would think that why would they care if the last point of the year they do $90 billion? Why borrow $34 billion or $35 billion from the Federal Reserve? Why not just float it in thin air? So there are little hints all the time of the actions taken by the central banks around the planet this time of the year that gives us a little more heads up of how controlled the Federal Reserve is running the world financial community at this point. And that's what, these are stories that really help us understand what is going on. What is making, how are they making decisions? What is their decision-making process? That's the thing that catches my eye out of the whole thing, is that, Why would the London Exchequer or the ECB borrow 20 or 30 billion dollars for the last 3 weeks from the Federal Reserve? Seems odd to me. If you can create equity out of thin air, why don't they just do it? Why do they need to go to the Federal Reserve to borrow it in the overnight window for 30 days or 40 days? These are the things that make me say or kind of emphasize the trend that I think we're seeing, how things are working. But they are nebulous. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they are doing a good job of hiding everything they do. At least they try. But then every so often something slips out like that. So, all right, let's jump over to the cable. Cable closed in the daily buy. You can see that over on Fact Check, right there. Yeah, there's a second day in day. No, that's not it. No, it did not close in daily buy. I thought it did. Let's go double check that, because I know it's flying through it this morning. There it is, right. It's calmed down dramatically from what it was doing. It was flying up there much higher this morning when it hit that 0.618, and it was looking very clean and solid. I guess the only thing that's really flying overall is the weekly here. You can see the weekly is in 1 week in a weekly buy, and the rest of them are in sells, and this thing is trying to lift up even more in here. And this morning at one point we were flying through. Like right now we are just, plot one is actually plot one is plus. You see it, is it right there? Yeah, so you can see that. Gas line 3 is plus. You can see it's 0.00012 was just 16, I think. Whereas down here you can see obviously it's very plus right there, plus 0.0238. But it is plus right here. We are plus. Now we've gotten a red and green. Let's give it a refresh. But we got a red and green. This morning it was just a green. And I thought, wow, they're really starting to lift this thing. So this will be, we said, matter of fact, let's see if I can show you. This morning when we sent a chart out, so we can get a hold of that. Where's that at? Right there. There we go. When we sent the GBP chart out this morning, you can see right there, it was launching through. I mean, it was really moving up fast and heavy, and then it's backed off, and we're just on the edges now. So that was kind of impressive. Cable was showing some good life in it this morning, and it may, may just keep on, showing more strength as time goes on today. So, hey Douglas, how you doing? Good morning to you. Let's see what else. How are you? How was your evening? I hope was fine. So let's see on the cable here, right there, and this is the weekly. Let's see how it's showing on J4X. It should be lifting up. Matter of fact, I would think it's been lifting up for a couple of weeks. Yeah, see that? We got 2 weeks of the green hinkies, and we see the white line has been pierced through the slow-moving stochastic now for a couple of weeks. And then over in Fact Check, you can see the same thing. We are at 1 week in a buy, so where's that right there? 1 week in a buy, so we're basically working on the second week with no problem right there. You can see that action there. All right, now we'll jump over to Turkish Lira and see what they're doing with that this morning. Ooh, there's a smack in it. Smack-a-doodle on the dollar side of Turkish Lira. Look at that. Knocking down a little bit. The weekly is very strong. I mean, we got pretty high up to begin with. It's going to take some real work to push this thing back into some type of consistent downtrend, but we'll see. And at the same time, let's check it out over on the J4X. Right there. There it is. Now this is the weekly. Probably just pinned up. Yeah, pinned up, looking strong. Let's see what daily looks like there. So Douglas, do you see anything you would like to look at in particular? I did look at that. It's you. It looks at the Brazilian, right? The real, the ETF. I did see that. It was up starting the day off today. Closed up very firm there yesterday. Let's see. Yeah, you can see that there, and you can see over on J4X on the daily, trying to push down the same. See that? We're seeing the pressure, seeing the white line through the slow-moving stochastic. There is some pressure on this at the moment. Now what we do is we jump over to the euro against the euro against the Turkish Lira. Right there. Same situation, it's pushing down. You see it on Chicago Quant, same situation, pushing down. And let's see what the weekly looks like over there. Let's see, Douglas says, I am following really carefully this one, the ETF. You mean the EWZ? Yeah. Let's open it up, see what it looks like. I looked at it about 45 minutes ago, just as it opened up. I thought, let's see what they're doing to that this morning. And there it is. And I left it on that page. Now it was up higher. You know, it was up that high there, you can see. Still looking good here. The weekly is having the issue though. We talked about that yesterday. And it's been in a weekly sell since July, almost the end of June. So it's not really, you know, it's lost over 25% of its value since it's been in a weekly sell. And I would imagine, you know, we'll start to see some type of simple bottom. We have had a couple daily bottoms, but overall the sells have been much. Look at the distance between the sell to the buy, a sell to the buy. Notice how the sell comes in just after a couple days. Sell to the buy got a little bit shorter here, almost equal distance there. You know, made new lows. You know, what 5-month lows or something like that. See, so July, August, September, and October, 4-month lows. It made new 4-month lows and then perked up. Now let's see if it lasts like this for a couple days, or if it just rolls over again and starts to join in here. That'll be interesting. It's an interesting product. Unfortunately, we don't seem to be able to get the actual Brazilian real, you know, which is really irritating because it looks like there's a lot of action in it. I mean, I'd love to follow that. All right. Let's see. Where do we go from here? From here, we go over to Canada, and there's the Canadian, and it pushed itself in the daily buy for a few days, as you can see there. Okay, we should do this widen thing. That so you see it better there. If we give it a refresh, it'll straighten it all out. There we go. So it pushed itself into a daily buy for a few days, but today you can see the pressure is back on it again. It looks like it's breaking down below the zero line. Let's see where it's at there. Yeah, it's minus again. And you can see the weekly's been in a weekly sell since here, so they're not reaching for that. At the same time, I did see oil down, which was interesting, you know, to match up with the strength, you know, going the reverse direction up in the Canadian. And let's see, let's put it on J4X. Dollar CAD, right there. This is the weekly here. See if we're seeing anything particular going on with the J4X platform on it. But yeah, that real has a lot of interesting characteristics to it. Yeah, it's been heading down just like on the Chicago Quant, pushing down. As we take a sip of our tea. And let's see, let's go over to the daily of that. There we are. The daily, you can see, was up like we were on Chicago Quant, both battling up, and it's still battling. We'll see. Maybe in a few hours this will join in, and you know it'll start to match up with the action we're seeing there. And that's the Canadian. Canadian's kind of flattened out. I've been meaning, I asked if anybody knew when the elections were. Oh, what is this? Jordan says, hey, good morning, Jordan. I think cable might go to 141. Not sure, though. Still learning. I hear you. Let's take a look at that cable real quick. You know, I think we have fibs on that, too, so it could be fun. Let's see, where's cable? Right there. Yeah, we do. We have the fibs on it. And let's see if we can make this biggerish for everybody. Like that. And lift that up a little bit more like so. Indeed. Notice how it's been hitting the 618 here. It's been banging up against it. And you would think that if it, you know, we're trying to get back into a daily buy here. You can see that there. We got, now, no wonder the thing's messed up. It's not showing it. Format, price, scale. What do we want? We want, is that it? Yeah, I guess. There it is. That's better. So that line has to come down to there now. That makes more sense. See how it's battling to be up? And we just showed a chart. Let me see if I can show it to you. This morning, a couple hours ago, when looking at these markets, we saw that. Let me just show you what we sent out to the clients this morning. See how our chart earlier in the morning was roaring up, really strong. You know, there was no red dot at that point. It was just lifting. So yeah, you're right. There's definitely some strength going on in there. Definitely. Did I minimize everything? What did I do? There it is. So you can see there, it's backed off. You know, and what it did is it literally ran up to that 618 right there. That's what that is. And I guess your 140-ish area is the 0.73 or 72, I guess it is. 77, 76, something like that. What is it? Yeah, 776. And so, yeah, I mean, it would not surprise us if this product found itself back up in the 40s, like 42 and change. And let's see, where else do we go from here? So, yep, I agree with you, Jordan. It looks like it wants to do something. And now that we're in a weekly buy here, and we keep on flirting to get back into, well, actually, we went into a daily sell just for 2 days, here and there. And now we're flirting to get back into the buy. Just put that in there. There we are. It's flirting to get in there. So we'll see. If this gets into a daily buy, yeah, it would make sense to see it get up into the low 140s. It's joining in with the weekly, you know. Remember, nothing is a straight line. It'll zigzag its way there in the end. All right, from the Canadian, we take a quick look at oil and gold, and then we go back into the four currencies, and then from there we investigate the metals complex a little bit more in depth, a little bit deeper. So let's take a look at, let's see, get rid of that, go there with that, there we go, and let's see what oil's looking like this morning. And there's oil. You can see it went into a sell yesterday. It's trying to lift up today. You can see the weakness, but look at the strength. It's trying to bounce fast, isn't it? And we're in the weekly buy, so I mean, it's not a trade to the downside as much as a profit take and wait for the next trade. Now let's check it over on J4X here. Right there. There's the daily. Probably see a couple of red hinks. No red inks, all green still. And you can see how it broke down here and is trying to turn back up also. Just like our Chicago Quant doing the same pattern. Let's see what the weekly looks like. I don't think they've done any damage on the weekly side of it. I mean, you can see here on the Chicago, we're pushing down and challenging the top part of the time manifold, but I don't think there's that much damage now. With the weekly here, that's looking very firm. All right, now let's check out the gold. See what gold looks like. With the Canadian lifting up, we assume maybe a little weakness in the metals complex. You know, just a little profit taking. Remember, they've done a good run and shoot. You know, it's been doing very fine. and there's the weekly. There's the gold. You can see we're trying to generate a down, but it won't break the the zero line out of nowhere. The weekly is backing off more than we would like to see, but that's the way it goes sometimes, traders. You just follow the math. And then let's see, you can see here it's all firm, whereas we are still not in a weekly buy here. But the drift, notice it's been drifting up. And it's been more in a daily buy. Look at that long daily buy there, and then we went into the sell for this, and went right back into the daily buy, and we're in that daily buy at the moment and still having problems. So this has been more of a neutral trade for us, unless you're trading binaries or options, where you won't get stopped out. But this has been pretty much a neutral trade. All the real action has been in the silver, and we'll see that when we go over to this complex again and take a look at it over the next after we get done the rest of the currencies. Unless someone says, "Hey, I'd like to see silver." All right, let's go to the South African Rand, which was moving up yesterday. We talked about that, and we were a tad disappointed about it too, because we thought it should have been going down, not up. Right, where are you? Right there. There we go. Still moving up. You can see that. So that's as much as when it was going down. So just show you. And we were saying, oh, this must mean, the strength in silver must mean the strength in gold. We were interpreting it in that fashion. Now, it seems to be battling with this bounce here. Let's see. Maybe it was profit taking, who knows. End result is that it's 3 days in the daily buy. The nice part out of all this for the gold and metals traders overall is this. The fact that it's playing with the weekly and trying to go down. And maybe we get into a daily sell, this thing could go take out the low over here, which is like, a 4-week low. Let's see where the last low is before that. It's been tough. That's been a holding range, that 14 area now for 6 months. So they may go down and challenge that. This could literally be the A, the B, and then a C down. It's like the last gasp. Let's see how it looks on the weekly over here. As it loads up, you can see that, yeah, it's trying to push down just like we're pushing down, right? Oh, you didn't see that. There you go. Not pushing down there. There you go. Now you can see what I was talking about. So we were surprised that this thing was holding up still, but if it breaks, we get in the daily sell and we're underneath here at the same time, it starts screaming at us that maybe they are going to take this down. Maybe the metals complex is going to show some strength all the way into the end of the year, which would be really, really nice. Can you imagine how they trap the longs and something like that? And the next thing you know, the first of the year, they start to slam it again. It's like, no. We haven't seen any real good consistency. We get it every so often. You get a consistency with the metals complex for 2 or 3 months, and then it seems like for 9 or 10 months, it does everything else you don't want it to do as an investor in the metals complex. All right, and from there we go over to the ruble. There's the ruble still making more lows. We've been in daily sell from here, weekly sell way even further back since basically mid-early August. So, and have we pierced even the 70 yet? Oh, we have. We're through the 70 and we're down into the 69. Cool. We're in divine territory. So let's see how this keeps on rolling. Look how deep down the white line is. And the histogram's burying itself. And the green line's burying itself deeply down for the ruble traders. Now, let's see what that looks like over on J4X. Right there on a weekly view. Comes. Lots of red, see? Just like Doc's work. And then, where do we go? Here's the daily. Should be lots of red again. Lots of red. So, the ruble is just inching and twisting its way that way. Hey Doc, I think, oh yeah, we read that one. And so, yeah, that is the action we're seeing over here, and we're not surprised. As we sip tea, not surprised at all. All right, now let's go over to the yen right there. Yen's trying to turn up here this morning. We got a red and a green, so a little volatility. We've been in that weekly buy for 2, 4, 6 weeks, going on 7. Let's check it out over in J4X. Nope, not that one. That one right there. There we go. There you go. See, it's trying to do the same exact thing. And this is the daily. It broke down with the sell. Now it's trying to turn back up again. See how the weekly is doing. All right, you see that? It's just marching along just like ours. It's been in a weekly buy for a bunch of weeks, and I guess that means that it's weaker against the dollar, which I guess it emphasizes in many ways the fact that the dollar has been strong. And we've seen that because we saw that with the Swiss. And wasn't the Swiss on a weekly buy for a bunch of weeks? Let's just go back there. That's like always my default to go back and check. Right there, yeah. See, we were in a weekly buy since the end of August, and you can see here we finally fell into a weekly sell last week, and now it's trying to turn back up already again. Don't really have a lot of conviction in any direction of any of these products. To me, it's all trades in a range, and it doesn't seem like it wants to let go of the range, and it seems like the range is paramount to pretty much all the trading all the time. Now you can see here's Mexican peso. Mexican peso has been in that sell since this top up in here, but it hasn't come down and taken out these lows. And we're still in the weekly buy too. That's the other thing. So this whole move has been said, it said take a profit here out of this whole wonderful move that the math caught, but it's not telling us to be short. And that's why we say if you're gonna just trade by a daily number, you got to trade the binaries or the options. If you're going to trade by the spot, you want to coordinate the weekly with the daily always. It's the safest way to go, highest percentage winning game. All right, now let's see where do I go. Oh, anyways, let's get it up on the J4X. Right there. There's the weekly. Let's see if we we've got 2 weeks of the red there. It's joined in with the daily. Where's the lines at? There's the lines. They've joined in 2 last week. Now let's take a look at the daily. And it's been buried just like, let's see, how many days in a sell there? 2, 4, 6, 8. This is the 10th day. We got 4, there's 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Same thing. All showing weakness. Broke the line there too. There you go. And that is the Mexican peso, which I'm amazed that it has showed that much weakness, because it has been acting very well for a long while now. I would think a lot of this out of a change of range, change of envelope, however you want to describe it, change of the channel. Take your choice of what you want to call it. I think in the end result is that it's basically just talking about inflation. They're trying to adjust. They're supposed to adjust. Funds have to adjust. They don't have a choice. They have to do something. They don't have to liquidate the portfolio of a particular product here or there because of it, but they have to lighten up, or they will be sued. So they've got to do something. All right, let's see, where are we at here? Okay, so that finishes off the currencies. Now let's go over to the metals complex and see investigate the whole metals and energy complex. And right there you can see is gold, showing its weakness. The disappointment today out of everything was this right here. Silver trying to get into the sell. It's been a wonderful trade. It's been in a weekly buy. This is the second week. This reverse head and shoulders is now turning into a real big reverse head and shoulders right here. It's gotten up to this side shoulder here. Before, this was the reverse head and shoulders. Now it's a big giant head and shoulders. That right there takes care of that. And we'll see if it does the William O'Neill handle now. If it does that handle like that, and we find it lifting and breaking this area here, we have to assume that they are going to drive these metals into the end of the year on a very firm note, especially when they stay in weekly buys and they get back into daily buys. Right there is the silver contract. See that weakness there? And it's all green still. All green. And that's the daily. And then right there is the see what that is. There's the weekly. So we're seeing that strength. There's no doubt about that. There is buying going on in there. And it's the end of the year, and there's no reason not to, and you got this inflation. Oh, I saw. Oh, I should put it up there. It is brutal, the inflation picture. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Where's it at? I know I have it right here. All right, let's see. Where do we go? Let's see if we can find it. Let's see, let's just move this over. And then let's find it. And it's an interesting chart. It shows the inflation. It's interesting, it does show it. Let's see. Let's see. There we go here. I know I have it here somewhere. I want to show you this chart of the inflation that I've been talking about. And it does scream like, uh-oh, watch this, you know, that type of thing. Let's see, is that it? Right there, there we go. I think we got it now. Be here in a second. There it is. Let's see what we can do here. We can do it this way. Bring it up on there like that. And there it is. Oop. Oh. Let's bring it up there again. And there it is right there. What's going on with this situation? It's really been enlightening. Let's put it that way. Yeah, let's put it that way. It's been very enlightening. You know, the inflation factor, even with the COVID situation, was like, you know, in the 1.2 to 1.4 area basically, and then you can see it's policy more than there's anything else at this point. Now we've gone flying up. Just in 3 months, he tripled inflation, and now he's added another 25-30% of it. You know, it's definitely a disappointment to see that type of action occur. You know, there's so many factors that you could point to that the policies of the new government here has instigated it to happen, which is really odd, but they have. I don't get it, but that's what they've done. All right, so let's see. So that you would think, obviously, you know, this metals complex would have to move. You know, when you look at silver, let's go back to silver. You know, you see all these failed, you know, compared to that chart we showed you, it was ignoring the inflation. Product was trading in the 28s, you know, ran to the 28s. This nice big move here, refused to get into it got into the weekly buy for this move, and then just rolled over again. And now, you know, they knocked it down, and you know, everybody historically has always known that you at least have some metals during an inflation period, but it's just starting now, just starting over again. So for some reason, you know, we knew that the central bank wanted us to believe that it was what they refer to as transitory, and we heard people talking about it recently too. They were saying stuff like, maybe they could get Yellen to explain what she defines as transitory. Is it 6 months? Is it 1 year? Is it 3 years? What is transitory? We know that inflation is not going to go on forever. So, it would be nice to have a definition by the officials what they consider transitory. But they won't answer that question. But one thing is for sure, the marketplace, obviously at the moment, is, I don't want to call it winning, because you can't win against the Fed. All we can call it is basically going up in value. That's pretty much what it comes down to. But when it comes to winning against the Federal Reserve, if the Federal Reserve wants it to go down, it will go down. And that's what we believe we saw there. Now here, we saw that the platinum started to jump a couple weeks ahead of time. And it's firming, but not anything more than just firming at this point. It did most of its run. It ran 100 points in 3 days off of its 9-month low or something like that. When was the last time we saw that? I mean, this thing hadn't been in that price range for a long while, maybe a couple years, and it made that low down here in the $900 area, and then in 3 days it went right up to $100 in platinum. And then we haven't seen that in gold or any of these other products take that much of a move. Now we did see silver. You have to admit, silver did make an interesting move. So we can find it again right there. I mean, silver did, when it did bottom, it moved, $1 over a couple-day period. That is impressive. And from here, it has moved since we've been in, moving above the weekly, and we talked about the fifth head and shoulders. If it would fail, we have seen this product go from 2.5, 3 to 5. So that's pretty good. 22.5 to $23 to $25. That's a pretty good move. That's pretty impressive. So the central bank at the moment is probably trying to say, okay, guys, we're realistic. We know there's inflation. We're not going to try to look like a bunch of fools. We're just going to make it, show you that we understand. I see Jordan. Jordan says, I'm thinking cable would have to go through a correction pattern on its way up. That's if it goes up to 143, like maybe a zigzag on the daily chart. Yep, I said that. Yeah, I mean, when you said that, then I showed you the chart. I said that, looking for. Let me put it back up there for you. Right here. There's what they call the William O'Neill handle. So in other words, you think of it like a cup. Like this is the cup, like a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and then it develops a handle. In this case here, I'm thinking that it has that look like it's trying to do the big cup, all the way down to here, comes all the way back up to say 139-ish, especially with this flirting with a daily buy and we're in a weekly buy. Figure we get there, then they do the zigzag as you're suggesting. Exactly, I agree. And does the handle. They come down and challenge these lows here, and then they go and take off to the 40s. That would make sense, Jordan. Yes, you guessed it right. That's exactly the way I would interpret it too. So that you're right on. You're spot on there. All right. And so then, that's right. We were looking at platinum. Let's go back to. Oh, you couldn't see it. Wait a minute. Let me just do that again for you so you can see what I was talking about. There it is. So you see here's the cable, and it's acting like as if this could be the cup, and that could be the handle, and maybe it'll come down and challenge the 50 percentile one more time or close to it, and then lift through, go to the 40. It could stall out again, generate another handle in here, and then lift up even further up. That's what I was saying, the zigzag, as you say. All right, and so there's silver, platinum. Let's see what copper's doing. Right there. Now copper has made a big dash going to the 480 area. And matter of fact, this is another one of those big cups in a sense, and this is the handle. This area here would be the handle. This is the big cup, and you can see that's a big move at this point. Now it's doing the digestion or channel in here. We were wondering how much influence. Yep, the cup and handle. That's from William O'Neill, the gentleman technician who started Investors Business Daily. I think they call them IB now, maybe Investors Business. I'm not sure, but it had a couple different names, but it's very successful paper. Now I think it only publishes once a week an actual paper, and the rest are all electronic now. And they have a really, you should check it out. They have a very fascinating statistical system. They rate different currencies and stocks and just all kinds of things, bonds and everything. Futures, they rate them in different patterns. How strong they are, relative strength to this and something else, and it's a very good, interesting thing to look at. Jordan says, also I think there's a butterfly buy pattern. Now I'm not sure what a butterfly buy pattern is, but I think I'm going to go look it up right now. You mentioned that once before, and we didn't explore it enough. So let me see what a butterfly buy pattern looks like. 'Cause I don't know that. I know what a butterfly is in the derivatives world. Let's see if we can find it. Sounds like an interesting thing there. Okay, so 1 to 16, 500. 5 results for butterfly out quitting patterns. Huh? Let's try it in trading. Let me write this: butterfly buy patterns in trading. Let's see what it says there. Merrill Edge self-directed. My top 5 trades for fast gains. Beginner's guide options. Yeah, I know what a butterfly is there. The butterfly pattern is a reversal pattern composed of 4 legs. Okay, I think we found it. Similar to the Gartley and bat pattern. Never heard of those either. That sounds pretty cool. All right, let's see if we can spot this one. Let's see. Do I click there? Maybe I do. I see. It might have something to do with candlesticks. The butterfly pattern is a reversal pattern composed of 4 legs, similar to the Gartley, but bat pattern. Okay. So let's see what that says there. Let's see if we can see what it looks like. Okay, I see it now. So to identify the butterfly pattern, yeah, I see it. So X, A, B, C, and then D. Okay, I get it. So it's like a correction. A butterfly is similar to the Gartley and bat patterns, but final CD leg makes 127. Sounds like a Fibonacci, not Fibonacci. It sounds like an R.N. Elliott type of thing. In other words, here it is. MetaTrader 4 can automatically add Fibonacci extensions. Okay, so it's a I see it. Okay, and they're using Fibonacci to identify. I see. Checklist for butterfly pattern. How to trade it. Let me save this. Take a peek at it. Add the bookmark and done. There you are. Interesting. Okay. I see it now. I see what you're looking at. The ABC. I wonder if that last low there is not a new low and it goes back up. Okay, so they start off with X, then they go A, B, C, D. Interesting. All right. Let's go back to the chat line. Okay, I have an idea now what you're talking about there. Okay, that makes sense. And that you're talking about in the cable. Yeah. Let me just go back to the cable too. That makes sense. I see what you're seeing there. So right there. So I guess is this the X? The X would be right here. Would you consider that the X? Or do you go even deeper and you look at the pattern a couple times? So is that the X? Let's make that black too. Start off with, that's the X, this is the A, this is the B, this is the C. This low here, now from this bottom, you can see it's going up to here. Or you use this as the A, the X right there. There's your A, there's your B, there's your C, and now you're seeing that extension. So the first low, this one right here. Yeah, okay. So it's this one right here. This is the X, this is the A, B, C. Yeah, I get it. That's interesting. Was it Bob Prechter and a few of those started throwing X's in and W's? Maybe this is just cousins from that at this point. It wouldn't surprise me any. And it looks like the R and Elliott, correction. So the ABC defines the correction, and the 1, 3, 5. So it goes 1 up, 2 down, and the 2 can be your butterfly. Then 3 up, and that's supposed to be the longest of the lengths. So from 1 to X2 or 2 defines that, and then you from your low here, that 134ish area. Then what you do is you look at the distance of the 1, and then put that in there to project where it's going on this move right here. And it said, how did it say it? It said, I saw that. It said that. It said something about, place your stop loss just below the 161 Fibonacci. And then what was the extension? Oh, this will be at least 127% extension of the X to A leg. Okay. And this would be the A right from here. So they're saying that this should be 127% of it. So you get up to here, and then there would be, I guess that's the extra thrust of it. That's interesting. It's a good way of looking at things. You're looking through the. I've always referred to this. I invented something like this about 4 or 5 decades ago. I guess like 4 decades ago, and I used to call it a set theory, and trying to define true or falses in neighborhoods, in sets, in topological structure. R.N. Elliott was truly a topologist. He may not have known it, but he was a topologist. He was definitely a mathematical topologist. He was historically an accountant or finance guy for a banana company. So, all right. So that's good. I like that. Thank you, Jordan. I'm glad you're bringing that into the conversation here. It's well worth looking at and observing and keeping an eye on too. Exacto presto. All right. Let's take a quick look at the energy complex. Let's go back to that again, since we've done the metals. And there is crude oil. And crude's just being sloppy, just a little weak, profit taking from all this action in here. We're in that long weekly buy here, so that makes sense. And then let's go to natural gas right there. Natural gas. Ooh, look at that. It started off strong this morning, and look at it now, pressing down. Look at that pressure on it. Maybe temperatures, I don't know what's going on there, but someone took a profit. We'll see how the rest of the day goes. We've been in that weekly buy since back in here in the 4. We've run to the 6.5. Now here you go. You're seeing that again too, I guess. You're seeing this is the X, this is the A, B, and C, and then here is your extension right there. And obviously the distance between the A and the B maybe, or the A leg, I guess that's what it is, the A leg, right there, and see if it moved as great as to here, and then goes that 127 extension. Interesting. All right. Next we go and take a look at. Well, that's it. We do natural gas and we do. Oh, I know. We look at heating oil. Let's see what heating oil is doing. Right there, November heating oil, which is getting ready to expire. Right there. It's been moving up, holding at highs, and a long weekly buy. A daily buy went on for up to here. No one was following it. We had a client looking at it at one point. Went into a sell there, went back into the buy literally the next day, and then went into a sell here, and then 2 days later, went back into the buy, and then now we are back in the sell again, but in a weekly buy, so it's really hard to want to get short in this product. Let's see, let's put the red in there. Like so. Oh, not that. The red there. And the red there. And the red there. All right. Now, I guess we're time to get out of here. So this is Doc from North America. We'll come up with a title, and we'll go from there. This is Doc from North America. See you tomorrow on Happy Hump Day. We'll take a look at whatever you like to look at, technically. We love looking at this stuff. And thank you for mentioning that butterfly pattern again. And I might try to do some more investigation between now and tomorrow on it. But that reminds me of Robert Prechter's X and W's with it, the ABCs. So, all right, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our global trading friends. Ta-ta.